Welcome to the You're in Charge podcast, prioritizing your self-care without sacrifice. I'm your host, Heather Dumas, healthy lifestyle strategist, owner and founder of HD Transformations Coaching Company. I am passionate about helping you juggle all the balls and look and feel like a badass doing it. Okay, here we go. Episode number 1 of the You're in Charge podcast. I am so excited to do this. I'm excited to share my story and my experience and my knowledge with the hopes of you feeling and looking like the badass that you are, and mostly being able to do better, feel better, accomplish more. Because at the end of the day, that's what we want, right? We are high achievers, we are goal getters, and more is what we want. We'll revisit that, but just thought I'd give you a little background. So if you don't know already, I've been in the health and wellness industry for more than 10 years and officially, but I've been an athlete my whole life. I have always been interested in how our bodies work, how they don't work if they're not working correctly, and how to fix it, whether it was learning from coaches or physical therapists or doctors, because yes, I've broken a lot of things, or rabbit holes that I've dove down or books I've read or whatever. I have accumulated a lot of information in my brain about our bodies. And even with all of that, I found myself a few years ago in a place where I was exhausted, I was stressed out, I was unhappy with how I looked, unhappy with how I felt, and it just wasn't working. I was doing all the quote unquote right things, and it still wasn't working. And so instead of fighting my body and continuing to dig that hole deeper, I chose a different path. I decided to work with my body. I decided to figure out what it needed and not what it needed less of, if that makes sense. I didn't need to eat less. I didn't need to work out more. I knew that that was kind of handled, but I was obviously not giving my body what it needed to make things happen the way I wanted it to happen. So I did, and I figured it out. And now I'm healthier than ever. I'm happier than ever. My career is growing, my business is growing, my family is great, my relationships are awesome. And I 100% believe it's because I chose to take care of myself. I chose to put my self-care at the top of the list, no matter what, non-negotiable every single day. It doesn't change. And I want that for you. I see women all day, every single day, just on the struggle bus for no reason. There is absolutely no reason that you should be struggling, that you should be frustrated. It is not a rite of passage. It is not a fact of life. You should feel good. You should wake up happy. You should wake up rested. You should enjoy moving through your day. Life should be good. Okay. So if it's not, that's why I'm here, to make sure it is. So we're kicking off the podcast today with some foundational conversations, some stuff, some really building blocks for creating a healthy lifestyle strategy that works, for prioritizing your self-care, for figuring out what your body needs. So let me tell you this. You already know how to get where you are. You're here, you got here, you know what you did to get here. But I have 2 questions for you. The first is, do you know where here is? Have you stopped grinding long enough to look around and figure out where you are? I think sometimes we don't. And I think a lot of us, especially when we don't necessarily want to know where we are, we intentionally avoid figuring that out. The second question for you is, do you know where you want to go? Now, I know the easy answer is, oh, I want to lose 20 pounds. Okay. Is that really the thing though? Or is that going to enable you to do something else, enable you to feel a certain way, go places, do things that you can't do now? Really sit with that for a minute. Sit with those 2 questions. Where are you and where do you want to be? Once you become aware of where you are, it's like looking at a map, right? We get our little GPS out and we pull up Google Maps, and there's that little blinking blue thing, blue dot, tells you where you are. Okay. You can't figure anything out until you know where you're starting from. Now, when you go to type in your directions, it says your origin and your destination. What's your destination? How do you know which path to choose if you don't know where the hell you want to be? Now, you're probably thinking, I know exactly where I want to be. I'm sick of being this. I'm sick of being that. I don't want to feel this way. Okay, cool. Cool. I'm glad you know all that. I want you to really distill it down. What do you really like? What does that place look like? Does it look like you wake up and work out every day? mean you make dinner every night. Doesn't mean your spouse makes dinner every night. What does that place look like? Really figure it out in detail. And I'm going to tell you why in a minute. So, your origin, your destination. Now, I heard this expression the other day, or not the other day, a long time ago. And it goes like this: you can't move a parked car. And I thought it was genius. I wish I could credit the person that said it or the book or the podcast. I don't know. I heard it a long time ago. Here's what it means. You can get in your car and you can sit there and you can wish that it would get you where you want it to go. But if you don't take action, that car doesn't move. And that is where a lot of people are right this minute. They are at their origin. They know what their destination is. And they're sitting there wishing, but not doing a damn thing about it. So you got to take action, but you got to take the right action, right? So you got to put the key in the ignition. You got to turn it on. You got to put it in gear, and you got to push the gas pedal. Now, I think some of you are putting it in reverse instead of drive. And that's why you're not getting where you want to go. You have to have the right actions to get you to the destination. You have to have the right path to get you to the destination. So if the car is parked, it's not going anywhere. As soon as you start the motor, you put it in gear, you hit the gas pedal, now you're moving. Now you're moving in the right direction, hopefully. You've put it in drive, not reverse. You have to have goals. We know that. You have to have a clear direction. But more than that, you have to have the proper action. And that's where I think people are struggling. That's where I was struggling. I was doing all the actions. I was doing all the things, but my car was in reverse. I was pushing that gas pedal as hard as it would go, but it was going backwards. It wasn't until I really dialed in and figured out what my body needed that I was able to move it into drive and get where I wanted to be. Now, before we go any farther, I'm going to tell you we're using destination as a figure of speech, okay? Because it's not a destination. You're not going to just wake up one day and be there, quote unquote. It's a journey. It's a work in progress. Our bodies are always changing, and getting to know it, getting to know what it does and how it changes and how to modify, that's the goal. That's the destination, is to know your body. Okay. So some ways that you can make that happen, some ways that you can figure out which action to take, which gear to put it in. You got to figure out what not to do. You got to figure out where your boundaries are. You got to get rid of the clutter, the distractions, the obligations, and the people that are sucking you dry. It is not an easy task. And it is the first hurdle that all of my clients face when we start working together. It's not that they need to stop eating processed food. It's not that they need to get their asses to the gym. Those things need to happen, but those are relatively easy. The hard part is the drawing the boundaries, the choosing, instead of turning right or left, I'm staying straight on this road. Every time there's an intersection, you keep moving straight forward. There's intersections like volunteering. There's intersections like kids need you. There's intersections like friends want you. There's intersections like, your spouse needs you to go do this or do that for them. Now, I'm not saying to tell everyone to fuck off and not do anything for them. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is you have to make choices. And if you do have to make that right turn because your kid is sick today, then you make that right turn, but you get yourself back on the road that you wanted to be on as soon as possible. There will be detours. There will be U-turns. But if you know your destination, you can reroute yourself just like the GPS, right? It does that little and it's rerouting you, getting you back on track. You will get off track by accident. You will go on vacation. You'll have a party, whatever. And it will not be in 100% alignment with your quote unquote plan. But you can reroute, you can get back on track as long as you know what your track is. And as long as you know the proper actions that get you there. Okay. So I want you to do some thinking and figure out where you are, where you want to be, and then figure out some very specific actions that are going to get you from A to B. Now, I'm going to give you some suggestions. It may be that you need to go to bed earlier. It may be that you need to block off time in your calendar to take care of yourself, whether that's meditation, exercise, meal planning, whatever. Okay. I'm guessing you probably don't think too far ahead as far as what you need on a daily, weekly basis. I'm betting your calendar is locked in, dialed down for everybody else, not for you. So it's time to put yourself on the calendar. It's time to make sure that you are getting what you need so that you can get from where you are to where you want to be. I hope that was helpful. I hope that it got you thinking. I'm not going to give you all the answers today because I can't. I can't give you all the answers today. It's going to take some time for you to figure out what you need to do to get yourself looking and feeling like the badass you are. Thanks so much. I can't wait to hear what your path is. And I would love for you to reach out, send me a message, jump on my website. There's a little chat thing there. Let me know. Let me know what this stirred up for you. So have a good day. Thank you so much for joining me today. Remember, you're in charge. You're the only one who can create the life and the body you desire. You and only you. I'm here to guide you. I'm here to cheer you on and occasionally to give you the kick in the ass you need to make it happen. But at the end of the day, it's up to you. If you found value in today's episode, please hit subscribe. It'll bring all the newest episodes to the top of your list. You won't have to worry about it. One less thing. And I would love for you to share it with your most stressed out, frazzled friend. She needs it even more than you do. If you have a question or a topic that you'd like me to cover, reach out, shoot me a message on any of the socials or directly on my website. I would love to hear your idea, your question, and I'm always looking for new ones. Until next time, keep being the badass you are, and remember, you are in charge.